as soon as everyone catches up with the Red Bull cars, mate, that's it. Like, it's going to be nuts, bruv. Like, the Red Bull car's just too far ahead in front of it. And Max knows how to handle it.
Can I just add to that, right? Where was Perez today? Where was Perez? Nowhere. So, what does that say? He's got one of the...
So today we're hoping actually for a Piastri win. We reckon Lewis is going to jump a couple on the start. Max has put a new gearbox in, but we're hoping the gearbox is going to fail. We'll all cheer. It'll then start tomorrow, and then we'll get an engine failure as well. Fingers crossed.
I think Max is going to win, but I think Piastri is going to keep 2 and Leclerc 3, P3.
I was hoping someone can dethrone Max. Everybody's waiting for him to lose a race. We're hoping this weekend will be one.
I think Ferrari will do quite well, considering the lack of form recently. But Red Bull will come through, and Perez and Verstappen will do very well in the race. Let me just pan around. This is my brother, by the way, who is a bigger Tottenham fan than I am. He's a proper plastic fan. I'm disgusted that I'm wearing this, by the way, and this is going to get burned tonight. So just so everyone's aware.
I think the first one it will be Verstappen, then Leclerc, and then Russell.
Verstappen to win, obviously, because he's the only one racing now. So second, I'm going to put Charles Leclerc, and I want Hamilton to be third, Perez fourth, Sainz fifth. But actually, you know what? No, scratch that. I'm going to put Piastri second and Norris third.
I'm going to go similar. I'm going to go Max, Piastri. Lando's going to come through for the boys. Yeah.
So I've been following F1 for a long time, probably 12, 15 years. And I'm a big Lewis Hamilton fan. And I have to say, I think it's really deteriorated this season because obviously it's pretty much a walkover with Max Verstappen just basically winning it all. Getting pole every race and winning every race, and kind of falling out of love with F1 a little bit. So I kind of hope that next season maybe there's going to be a bit of a couple of challenges to Max Verstappen. And in terms of the prediction for tomorrow's race, I think unfortunately it's going to be pretty much a walkover from Max Verstappen again. I find it's not necessarily, well, it is boring, right? Because he just goes off, but full play, fair credit to him. What's more boring is the fact that the car is so much further ahead. Max is a great driver, but the car is far ahead. The punishment wasn't enough. They should have been docked. Probably should have been docked the championship, to be honest. We all know he's a 0-time world champion, really, but and Lewis is the 8th. I think the FIA should have done more, really. If you look at from P2 downwards, the racing all year has been great. Perez does his best to make it entertaining, He likes to qualify low and then make up the places. But it's not really Max's fault.
He's a good driver, but it is getting boring. I'm sick of him.
Yeah, like you got to credit the skill, but it is boring. Like you take him out of the races and it's tight racing. Oh, I mean, you can't replace him. He's number 1 for a reason.
Yeah, you can't replace him, but that is too fast.
Yeah.
Of course, I think he's a real champion because he's pursuing something that many people there didn't think about it, because Hamilton was in the league of his own for between the 2014 and 2021, and then Verstappen broke the row of the winnings. So I think he's a real champion because he started in 2017 or 2016, I think. I think he's a much better driver and he's a real fighter.
Yes, in a way, because Perez is not competing with him. When Hamilton was dominating, his partners were there with him. Perez is nowhere, so it's a one-man race. So at this point, the championship is over. So it's basically second place going down. That's where the championship is now.
I mean, I think he's probably lost his motivation for this season. But so hopefully he'll come back with a bit of renewed motivation. But I think basically he needs a better car. He needs to challenge. He needs a challenging car. Mercedes have got a lot of room, a lot of sort of ground to make up. and hopefully, yeah, he'll come back next season.
I think what's making it interesting is that after the last race, where you see the McLarens coming back, it's actually made it a bit interesting. Obviously, Verstappen's still out front, but to see them come back and to show that everybody's starting to catch up with Red Bull, hoping by the end of the season there's going to be some really good racing.
This is good, keeps it interesting, eh?
Yeah, I like sprint races too.
Actually, about the sprint races, I don't have an opinion yet because I didn't see how it's managing the drivers about that. How it's better than the qualifying, because if you win a sprint race, you can see the outcome of the real race. So I don't see any real, how to say that, about purpose about that. Because if you see the shorter race, in about 20-30 laps, you can see all the 70 laps. Mostly because the strategics of the teams, I think you can predict how it's the outcome of the race from the sprint race itself.
I think sprint races are good, right? But they've just got it wrong. They should do reverse format. So put it, if you're qualifying first, so get rid of the sprint qualifying. It's normal qualifying, but whoever qualifies in P1 actually starts last on the grid. So the teams at the bottom end are all starting P1, P2 for sprint, and then they're actually fighting out for the points, because as you hear from the drivers, some of the times in the sprint they're actually scared that they're going to get hit or they're going to get knocked out, which then means that they don't actually get the points that they want on the Sunday. So flip the grid, do it that way. Or I tell you what, do the track in reverse, do it the other way around.
I like him. I like him because it gives the underdog a chance to win a race and to do something different. And because the sprint race doesn't affect the main race. So this is good for entertainment, especially on Saturday. You actually watch a race. It's just not going to be practice and qualifying.
I was going to go with track in reverse. I think it's something that everybody's talked about doing in F1, but no one's actually done. Combine that with a reverse grid, and I think when you see like what happened earlier in the sprint shootout qualifying, where Albon just put in a P2 out of nowhere, it just goes to show the talent's there to hold their own at the front. They've just got to be given an opportunity to be at the front. So having a reverse grid would be awesome, and yeah, track reverse as well.
I'm not a massive fan of sprint races. I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick. I liked the idea of it, but unfortunately, I don't think it's really exciting. I don't like the idea of quali being on Fridays, because a lot of people work Fridays. They don't really get to see the qualification, so you kind of lose that excitement. So sprint race is all right, but I think it could be designed a bit better.
Predictable, as always. We knew Max would do something, and 7 seconds over 11 laps is a bit questionable. However, Oscar Piastri, my McLaren boy, yes! Yeah. Ferrari boys were in the points, so we're happy. Daniel was alright.
Devastated for Danny Ricciardo though, because he definitely deserved points on this sprint race. 100%.
But Pierre Gasly third.
Yeah, so we like a bit of Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he could have done better. Yeah, Max is making it boring.
You know what? It's a bit annoying. Obviously, every single race we watch, it's always Max winning, Red Bull winning, and stuff like that. I think, all in all, decent sprint. I think, in terms of like the length, it could have been longer. I think, well, personally, I'm a Lewis fan, so obviously I wasn't happy that obviously Lewis got the penalty, because it's racing at the end of the day, but it is what it is, kind of thing sometimes.
Well, it's amazing, man. That was great. I mean, Max Verstappen, I think, showed again how dominant he is. You want the best driver in the best car, and that's Max Verstappen.
I can't disagree with that. I'd like to see a bit more interesting racing though. Once Max took the lead, it was like a non-finish. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Oscar Piastri has showed his talent. I think he's got a lot to show. I think next year's going to be his year. But until somebody puts a stop to the Red Bull, not talking about Perez, of course, but until somebody puts a stop to Max, it's just a one-man show. Can
I just...
Mate, that's it. As soon as everyone catches up with the Red Bull cars, mate, that's it. Like, it's going to be nuts, bruv. Like, the Red Bull car's just too far ahead in front of it, and Max knows how to handle it.
Can I just add to that, right? Where was Perez today? Where was Ferrari? Nowhere. So, what does that say? He's got one of the...
shit on
Yeah, but also, you know, it's all about Max Verstappen, but guess what? We had Piastri there, we had Lewis still showing his greatness. He's fighting that car, he's pushing it to the limit. He's, what can you say? But hands down to Max Verstappen and to Piastri today.
Charles Leclerc did all right. I think he could do better, but I think we had it pretty good today because at least we didn't come last, at least we didn't pull a Checo. So, yeah, I find it was really good and good to watch as well, lots of overtakes, and I was surprised that Pierre Gasly got on the podium as well.
The best sprint races that has happened so far. I mean, starting with a wet track, getting drier, I mean, it's the dream for every F1 fan. I would have wished that, Max is just unstoppable, but got to be happy for Piastri, who's amazing.
With obviously going out on wets and then inters, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I'm glad to see Piastri and McLaren actually putting up a little bit of a fight now. With the Red Bull, it's a bit, it's not matched. Straight line speeds, and they're a hell of a lot quicker, so it's a mixture.
Tomorrow, I think Verstappen will win still. He could start at the back and win, so it don't really matter.
I mean, it was a sprint race, so not the most exciting. I'd probably say it's one of the better races of the season. It's pretty exciting. I mean, you got one of the fastest straight line cars on the grid versus one of the slowest straight line cars on the grid, so not really much of a fight when it came to the back straight. But it was good to see Verstappen having to fight for first though. I mean, he was the last person I expected to crash on the grid. I mean, I thought for his birthday he was gonna take it pretty easy, but I mean, out of everybody, I thought it was going to be Sargent, not Alonso.
I didn't expect it. I would have thought Stroll would have crashed, not him, to be honest.
It was an amazing race. I thought Verstappen did really well. I wish he didn't win. Piastri did a great drive. That'd be much better.
It's devastating. It's his birthday.
Alonso is obviously one of the best, and he should have been. That shouldn't have happened to him today. Absolutely not.
I think the Lance Stroll coming out on mediums earlier during the sprint shootout was ridiculous. What was he doing? He has really screwed his own teammate over there.
Yeah.
And I think that's destroyed Alonso's race.
Yeah.
If Alonso started further up the grid, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, he definitely would have got points, I believe.
Yeah.
100%.
I think he's too experienced for making that little of a mistake. He came in a bit fast and spun out. It's a rookie area, but he will learn and he will get used to it.
Look, there's a lot of history with Alonso. He is one of the greatest drivers, but unfortunately he made a mistake today.
Yeah, everyone does, mate. He made it at the wrong time.
Yeah, he made it at the wrong time.
But we all know that Stroll can afford it, right?
Never get bet against Max, but I mean, with the McLarens going as they are, Charles going fantastic around Spa like he always does, I think there's going to be a real fight in the midfield for some serious points that are going to pay dividends towards the end of the season.
Max P1, Charles P2, Piastri P3, Sainz P4. It's a tough one. Hamilton P5 and George Russell P7.
Mine's P2 or P3 I'd be happy with. And if I could have a McLaren on the podium at the minute, I think Oscar has been driving so well. Oscar deserves the podium.
He definitely deserves the points.
I love Lando. I'd like to see Piastri on the podium.
Go on then, what's your P1, P2, P3?
I'm going to go Verstappen, Leclerc, Piastri. Sorry,
I'm 100% going Verstappen. Leclerc's my boy. I love him. And I'm going to go Piastri as well, yeah. I'm going to go yours, yeah.
I'm going to go Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz.
Max, dead cert to win the race as usual. Even though he'll be coming through the field, I think either Lando Norris will be second and third up for grabs.
It's going to be Verstappen. It's going to go straight through, do the same as always.
It's a one-sided series. Red Bull all the way. Red Bull all the way. The way. It's Red Bull all the way.